So, I'm Daniel and Abby, and I'm a dietitian at WIC. So, I'm here to share 3 things with you today. 1, why improving nutrition in the first 1,000 days could be the most important thing you ever do. 2, how I got to be called the Juice Police. And 3, a counseling tip you can use starting today. So, there's a disclaimer though. I got the uniform on, but these are my views and not the views of WIC. I was told to say that. So, first 1,000 days. What are they? Pregnancy to 70 days, year 1, 365 days, year 2, 365 days, first 1,000 days. But for me, why not the other 25,000 days? Why not focus on those? Well, to be honest, I don't really care about restoring health in old age. I don't really care about preserving health in middle age either. And maintaining health, that's fun, but I like this area right here. Securing developmental potential. So that's why I started, right here. But why this critical period? Why the first 1,000 days? Well, we have irreversible changes going on in these first 1,000 days. 80% of brain growth happens in the first 1,000 days. Nutrition literally turns genes on and off for life during this critical period. And organs and immunity develop lifelong functions. Let's just focus on the brain. So folate forms the neural tube. Maybe you've heard of this already. DHA, iron, and protein helps develop neurons. And iron deficiency can cause permanent cognitive delays. So how prevalent is this actually? Well, if we take a look at just iron deficiency causing permanent cognitive delays, let's look at the CDC. So for federally funded programs serving low-income children, like WIC, the prevalence could be up to 18.2%. That means 18.2% is nearly 1 in 5 clients have low hemoglobin, which is a proxy measurement for iron levels. And in my anecdotal experience, this is actually very true. So, which means iron deficiency cognitive delays, we got smooth brain in all our kids. It's a meme. We don't want that. We want the wrinkly brains, right? So, why I started to secure this developmental potential, to make sure the future generations, actually, I want to let you know, when I started my internship at WIC, because of all this, I felt like the work I made a difference. So my new goal was to set up our future for nutritional success. But what does that even mean at WIC? So let's dive into WIC. That's what you're here for, right? That's what I'm here for. So who do I help? It's in the name. Women, infants, and children. But it's a little bit more than that. Got subcategories. Pregnant women, breastfeeding women, non-breastfeeding women, postpartum women, regardless of their pregnancy outcome. Infants and children, fathers, caretakers, grandmas, aunts, grandpas, foster families, military families, and even unhoused people. So, all these people need to meet certain income requirements to be eligible for WIC. So, they got to make less than $29K a year. And they can make up to $10K more each child. So this is very little, and there's a lot of WIC clients. So these are the priority clients. If Dr. Lobini would like to test you on this, this is the slide to keep. So how do I help them? Well, first, we intake medical and nutrition history, of course. Then, I do nutrition education and counseling. And lastly, I issue the benefits for food, formula, and or breastfeeding supplies to their EBT card. And you may have seen them. They look like this. So, history. What goes into the history? Height, weight, hemoglobin, medical history, previous medical conditions, medicines, nausea, vomiting, constipation, diarrhea. If you want to be a dietitian, you're going to ask this every time. Difficulty chewing and swallowing, use of a bottle and cup for our little ones, screen time even. We got to know this. And of course, we do formula, breastfeeding, dietary recall. So we look at how they're eating. Let's just focus on some nutrition education. What does that look like? So let's say we see client comes in, they get tested, they have low hemoglobin. So we say likely iron deficiency. Oh, sorry. These are some of the nutrition education topics that we do. So this is one big one, picky eating. Another big one, formula and cow's milk intolerance, very common. Introducing solid foods, recommended amounts of dairy and juice. A lot of kids getting so much juice and so much milk, it's like they live off of it. But let's do it in practice. So back to the low hemoglobin. Client comes in, they got low hemoglobin, likely iron deficiency. So what do? We talk about the WIC approved high iron foods. But if you look on Google and you go to Healthline, what's number one high iron food? Can anyone tell me?
Red meat.
Red meat? Anyone else? Again?
Spinach.
Spinach is a good one. You want to hit me with a third?
Can I phone a friend?
Phone a friend. Who's the friend?
Red.
You.
I don't even know.
You want.
I don't even know.
Oysters. Crazy. Shellfish. Number one on Healthline. Is this a WIC approved food? No, it's not a WIC approved food. I can't recommend this. So what do we recommend? At WIC? Can anyone guess we recommend? Maybe spinach, maybe red meat, yeah?
Iron-enriched foods.
Iron-enriched foods. Excellent. Extra credit for her. Yes, Cheerios. Crazy, right? So why Cheerios? 12.6 milligrams of iron in 1.5 cups. That's a lot even for a grown adult. A 1-year-old only needs 11 milligrams iron. So just in 3/4 cup, they get half their iron needs. That's pretty good. That's why they're fortified with all of these vitamins and minerals. But there's a caveat. Can anyone think of a caveat with this? Yeah, I love your participation. Tell me. Sugar. Okay. Well, let's see how much sugar is here. Total carbohydrate, total sugars, 2 grams. 1 gram added sugar.
That's not the honey Cheerios, that's the regular Cheerios.
This is the yellow box, the standard Cheerios. Good try. Anyone else want to try? You.
Me?
What's the caveat?
They can't is it for babies?
It's for like a 1-year-old, yeah.
They can't eat it? Do they have
Okay.
teeth yet? I don't know.
Good try. Anyone else want to try? No wrong answers.
No.
Yeah, let's go again.
The ingredients.
The ingredients. Okay, somewhat. So, the caveat is since nearly all milks are fortified with calcium. Can anyone want to guess where I'm going with this?
Hank, you should know the answer to this question.
Calcium
with me.
reduces iron absorption. So, is the solution dry cereal? No, it's on the box. Fruit and cereal, baby. Vitamin C increases iron absorption. So, why Cheerios? Because of that, but also nearly every 1-year-old can eat it easily. Some with things as important as iron deficiency anemia, we just want to get it in. So spinach is great, red meat is great, 100%. But we want them to eat it consistently. So this is what I like to recommend. Plus, it's in their benefits. So what are their benefits? Well, they get juice, they get milk, they get cereal, eggs, fruits, vegetables, grains, fish. And here they are, all there in case you get tested on it. These are the formulas that we can provide. These are the contract formulas. There are hundreds of formulas that exist, but these are the ones that WIC can provide. But in order to receive these WIC benefits, clients must have a nutrition risk. So, like low hemoglobin, this would be a high-risk client. Or tube feeding, this will be a medically high-risk client. A bit more challenging. Or failure to meet dietary guidelines, this is a low risk. And if no other risk is found, this low risk is automatically assigned. So after they've gone through the eligibility requirements, the income, the residency, all that stuff, we can't withhold the benefits, the nutrition staff. So we have to automatically assign this risk. And pretty much, it goes for everybody. Who's meeting these damn things? Not many people, especially our WIC clients, but that's all right. But who pays for these benefits, right? I don't pay it, or do I? We all pay it. We all pay for these benefits. The taxpayers. The taxpayers goes to Congress. Congress sets a budget, and then they allocate grants to these federal funded programs. How many clients does WIC see? Anyone want to take a guess? You. How many clients do we see? Half a mil?
At one office or the whole?
The whole nation. Let's do the whole nation first.
3 million.
3 million. Half a million. We're getting warmer.
6 million?
Woo! Bingo! Bingo. 6 million clients. Over 6 million clients. This is a lot of people that are struggling, really. Personally, I've done 1,000 hours of nutrition education counseling. I don't know how many clients that is. Probably a lot of clients. How much money do I make? So full transparency, in case you're interested, I make $30 an hour. I work part-time. If you're to work full-time, you make $49K a year after tax and retirement, and if you take a nice 4-week vacation. How much money does this job make generally, though? Well, it depends where you want to live. The requirements are a bachelor's or master's degree in nutritional science. So in community nutrition too. You gotta have the RD credential. And you gotta have the license. You gotta pay that extra fee for the license to practice in your state. These are the requirements. And this is the title, in case you wanna look it up. This is all public. Public Health Nutritionist. Sometimes called the Juice Police. So what can a counseling moment look like? Now, full disclosure, I thought this was a counseling class when I put this together. So, you know, maybe you're not familiar with this, maybe you are. I tried to make it simple. But let's walk through it. You can get a little day in the life, right? So, this is a real WIC case study. This is real. We got a mom of a 1-year-old baby. Baby's in the 99th percentile for weight for length. This is a big baby. I just give her juice when she cries. And the baby's already eating whole fruits, so we don't really need the juice, right? 24 ounces of apple juice in a day. That's like the size of that bottle right there, pretty much. Maybe a little more than that. For a 1-year-old? What do you think the recommendations are for a 1-year-old for juice? Yes.
Maybe like 8 ounces a day.
8 ounces a day max? Like a whole cup?
Or maybe like half a cup.
Recommendations for a 2 to 3-year-old, less than 4 ounces. So I got alarm bells ringing. Behavioral issues in this child, the mouth could be rotting, permanent damage, regulating glucose for the rest of their life. So what happened? Well, first things first, how would y'all approach this? Can you tell me? What's the first thing we want to do with this?
Like not blame the parent.
Okay, great. What about you? First thing first, what do we do?
I guess it's trying to like substitute it, or maybe like.
Okay, moving a bit quickly here. Yeah.
Maybe often in a day, like the babies?
Okay, get more information. What's up?
Don't we want to like try to not get the child to consume juice, like as much juice?
Valid. Yes.
Ask how the support system is at home.
Okay, that's another great question.
You could like explain the risks of that much apple juice in a day.
Yes. Does anyone know what the first thing you do is when you enter a room? Someone that you don't know.
Introduce yourself.
Close.
Create rapport.
Create rapport. We gotta ask permission. Ask permission. Can we dive into this? Is this okay? So, when you go on your rotations, this is gonna be really important. You're gonna need to remember to knock on the door. And when you go and you have some things that are really bad, like you need them to know the risks, you wanna ask permission. Can I share the juice recommendations with you for a 1-year-old? And oftentimes they don't wanna be here. So they'll straight up tell you no. And that's all right. First thing. So those are all great questions that you asked. But this is the first thing we do. We ask permission. Sure, we got the permission. Great, right? So let's share them. The recommendations. Just half a cup for 2 to 3 years of age. But this client is 1. It's 0. So 24 times, that's what, 2,400% increase from the recommendations? So I asked an open-ended question. What's the support system like at home? Anyone else can think of an open-ended question to ask here?
Are
Yeah.
you open to like find like using alternatives to help support?
Are you open? No judgment here. The word are. How would I answer that? What are the 2 options I have to answer that question?
That's like a yes or no question.
That's a closed-ended question, and they have their place. Can anyone think of an open-ended question? You, tell me an open-ended question to ask. Okay. What about you? There's no right answer.
Tell me about other methods you use to calm the baby down.
Wow, I like that one. That's great. Yeah. How's the relationship like with the mom and the baby? Here's what I ask. After I share the recommendation, I check in with them. So there's no right answer. It's just a real case study. So what's your first reaction when you hear these? That's what I said. And she said, nothing really is I've done it for all my kids. Damn. So, maybe I push it a little forward again. Does anyone know what a ruler or scale is? This is where I thought. So I'm like, all right, on a scale of 1 to 10, how important is this for you to change? Man, are you the juice police or something? So much for setting up our future for nutritional success, right? This is how it felt. The reality is, I wasn't listening. The vibe was that she wasn't ready. And you hear this in their voice and how they position themselves in the room. There's some things that are just very difficult to be taught in the PowerPoint. But she wasn't ready. And I couldn't balance her need to maintain the routine and my need to make a difference. I couldn't balance that, and I pushed a little too far. So, counseling tip, right, from my mistake. So in theory, you may learn that if you're doing most of the talking, you're doing it wrong. But how are they supposed to know what the risks are? How will they know that 24-ounce juice is just too much? We gotta tell them, right? So in practice, there are hundreds of clients. The list doesn't end. It doesn't end. I go home and there's still clients needing to be seen. And there are things we must point out, yeah. but we have to focus our energy on who is reachable. This is from my supervisor. So, it doesn't matter what words you use, how you say those words, or your body language. If someone is unreachable, they're not ready for change. Is anyone familiar with this? So where would this client be on this?
Me?
Yeah. Where would this client be here?
I don't think they're on it.
Valid. They'd be right here. They're not even thinking about it. They're not even thinking about it. So the most leverage you can have on your time as a dietitian is to meet where they're at. And ideally, you want to meet them here. This is what we learn about all the time, right? We want to meet them when they're ready for change. But sometimes this is the reality, is that they're not even thinking about it. So even if you do your best, in public health, not everyone's ready for nutrition. Turnover is high, and compassion fatigue is real. So why do I stay? Bonus, going from the juice police to the food therapist? So at first I told you why I started. Now I'm going to tell you why I'm continuing. So these are real WIC benefits. WIC reduces fetal death. WIC reduces low birth weight rates. WIC improves the growth of children. WIC improves pregnancies. Children who receive WIC benefits demonstrate improved intellectual development. This is from the USDA. But really, for me, it's simple. I like to help families eat better. So, let's take a look at a similar situation, right? The same recommendations, the same open-ended questions, the same confidence ruler, and this is what a reachable client may tell you. How do I get my son to drink more water and less juice? 3 months later, oh my God, yes, it worked. Thank you. He's now drinking a lot more water with frozen fruit in it. A little transition here. This is a reachable client. Well, I'm trying to get my daughter to like vegetables. Another problem. 3 months later, someone that's reachable, they take the advice. It was hard at first, but we pushed through. She now loves carrots. Sometimes it just takes some consistency. This is a real client quote. Are you like a food therapist or something? Because I feel much better talking to you now. So there's two sides to every coin. In everyone's narrative, you're either heads or tails. So my 2 cents, that's 50, my 2 cents. My 2 cents is by focusing on who's reachable, we can make a 1% difference. Over many years, irreversible positive impact. I'm a dietitian at WIC, and thank you very much. Ask me anything. I'm happy to help.
So when you have an unreachable client, do you just like end the session, or how do you deal with that like after you figure that out that they're unreachable?
So oftentimes, like, I'll share the recommendations with them, and they may say like, okay, you know, and that's kind of my cue to stop and document what I had said. The next nutrition staff may try again. We say, hey, we're always here if you're ever looking to change. We're always happy to help. But yeah, the reality is sometimes you just have to let them go, because there are other clients that do want to change and that do need your help. So there's just so many hours in the day.
Yeah.
And yeah, we do have to kind of just let them go. Don't set a goal, don't do anything, just share them with what you can and move on. Yeah, thank you. Any other questions? Yeah.
Well, it seems like you like working, you know, with women, infants, kids. What's your dream job as being a dietitian? Like, would you still go into the same sector, or?
So I'm currently working on certified pediatric nutrition specialist. So I do like working with the kiddos. That's kind of the next step. I do need 2,000 hours working with kiddos. I have about 1,000, and need to pass the test, all this, and hopefully after I get that, there are many routes I can take. I'm currently being poached by FSU to teach a pediatric nutrition class, or I could start my own practice. I've always wanted to have my own business. I'm a very independent person, and so that is. There are some mentors that I'm looking to reaching out once I have that and see how they run their businesses and get it right the first time, right? Because it's very difficult. It's super difficult. But yeah, that's my goal. Thank you for asking. Any other questions? Yeah.
Was WIC your first job, like, after your internship?
Yeah.
And you just stayed there ever since?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. So WIC was I went to WIC for my rotation, and I liked it so much that I was kind of I also work at FSU as the dietetic internship coordinator. So I have 2 jobs. This is one of them. And I was starting that position while I was on rotations, a little bit before that, really. So I asked Dr. Strone, like, hey, can I like adjust my rotations to go back to WIC? Because I felt like I made that difference compared to all my other rotations. And Hannah, the director there, was happy to have me, and during that rotation, she offered me a position. So yeah, that's how it went.
Okay.
Thank you. Typically, like, for all you all being RDs, like, when we plan your rotations, we like to have your last rotation be the one that you're most interested in, like the field that you're most interested in, because that's typically how it goes. Your last rotation, if you do the best job you can, there's really not many nutrition staff in the world, so you'll be able to fill that vacuum and make an impact in hopefully that place or another similar one. But yeah, any other questions? Yeah.
I have a
Dr.
question
Levine.
just to kind of like help paint a picture for these guys of like what the process of coming to you looks like for WIC recipients. Can you maybe explain, like, for people who are WIC recipients or eligible for WIC, when do they have to see you? Are they required to see you? Like, how frequently?
They are.
Kind of like what that looks like, and basically as a condition of them getting their benefits, like they.
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Yes. So they are all required to see nutrition staff. So they're all required to see us. But we don't do any of the eligibility or anything like that. So once they're determined eligible, they have to have 3 nutrition visits in a year. So sometimes that doesn't happen because we're short-staffed, but typically they'll have 3 visits. A certification, a mid-certification, and like a follow-up. So, and they have to see us. So these sessions can last anywhere from 5 minutes to an hour, depending on that appointment type. But yes, they do have to see us. We do have the power, so to speak, that issue benefits button. We can only do that. So they need to see us for us to issue the benefits, but we can't withhold the benefits. So they're not reachable. They don't want to change. They don't give a damn what you're saying. At the end of the session, we issue benefits still, because they're determined eligible, they have that nutrition risk, right? So we issue the benefits. And each client category has different benefits. I glossed over them, but there are different benefits for women that are breastfeeding versus women that are just formula feeding. There's different benefits for a 1-year-old to a 2-year-old. And all of those categories, like the milk, the grains, the fruits, the vegetables, all the categories of benefits are the same, but the amounts differ based on the category of client.
Yeah, we'll talk about that on Tuesday in class. We'll talk in more detail about like how to qualify for WIC and what the actual benefits look like and stuff, so we'll go into all those details.
Great. Yes.
So it's 30 minimum. Do you find that like most of your clients only want to come to the 3 minimum, or like are they usually trying to kind of do like everything they can to like improve their situation or like get more education and like more resources? Like what's kind of the
I would say anecdotally, it's like 60-40. Like 60% of clients, like, you know, they're able and willing to make a change. 40%, they're really just there for the benefits, and it's okay. These are good benefits. But that's kind of the split. And I would say like it's not like nefarious, right? Like they're not mean, right? They're not mean. They just, you know, the vibe's off. Like the vibe is not conducive to change, and that's okay. But it really is. So, does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Any other questions, y'all? Oh, actually, you had a question. Sorry.
You answered it.
Oh, cool.
This is randomly specific, but I know someone that is taking care of their 1-year-old and had low iron. They suspected it was also the milk and the calcium iron thing. So I was just wondering, is it temporary? Like, do you just separate your calcium-rich meals and iron-rich meals, or how does that work?
That's a great question. Look how prevalent it is. We got someone in this classroom that knows somebody that this is an issue for. Yeah, so typically we're not gonna say no dairy, right? But you know, 2 cups a day, not 4. Maybe in between meals as a snack, not with every meal. Does that make sense?
So you recommend like low intake, or what do you?
No, we just the recommendations are set for a reason. So it's for a 1-year-old, it's just 16 ounces a day of dairy. So that's 2 8-ounce cups of milk, 4 4-ounce ones, and a cheese, a stick is like 2 ounces, a yogurt tube is like 4 ounces. So however they get that, I just like to suggest it as a snack apart from meals, just to really ensure that it's not coming in contact with the iron in the other meals. But it could be like, research shows like, I don't know, it could be like total, like throughout the day, depending on the digestion, what else they're having. So like these are like simple recommendations, but in terms of the actual science, I don't like really have the details on that, but that's what I recommend. Does that help?
Yeah.
Cool.
So like how would you know that they have low iron? Like do you guys
We have to test them for hemoglobin. That's how important this is. So they need their height and weight and their hemoglobin checked. Their height and weight to see that growth curve, which, oh my god, I can't believe I didn't include. We look at the growth chart. We do that. And the hemoglobin, which, you know, the lab tech or us, we're trained, like we prick their finger, we put it in the machine, it spits out a reading, and we go from there.
I have a question.
For like other nutritional conditions, like do you work with like other clinics or organizations, or have like a referral system? Like if you suspect like a client might have like some kind of allergy or like intolerance or like deficient in other things, like obviously like probably isn't gonna give you a comprehensive panel.
100%, yes. And we do refer out a lot of times to our community partners. So we can't do everything. We do see some medically complex clients. Typically they need some special formula, and we work with the other healthcare providers to make sure that we're all on the same page in terms of what they're getting, how much they're getting, like for our tube fed clients. So yeah. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I guess like how much of it do you get is like people coming to you who've been like referred like to WIC versus like you as a WIC dietitian referring other people out, if that makes sense?
Oh no, we get referred in way more.
Okay.
Yeah, there's like infinite clients. Like it just it never stops. So yeah, there's a lot of clients, and we don't refer out typically, because I think that's that's kind of like inpatient to outpatient, but we're kind of already outpatient. So we would just refer to like other specialists, like speech therapy, occupational therapy, a dentist. Do you know what I mean?
So if you're referring out to those kinds of places, is the care through them also covered by WIC?
No.
Or do they pay for that?
No. So sometimes like speech therapy can be covered by like programs called like Healthy Start. So a lot of times our clients will already be enrolled in those programs and they can get the speech therapy through that.
Would Medicaid cover some of that stuff too?
I'm gonna be honest, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. I think so.
I would assume.
I'm like 99% sure, but I don't want to speak on the details that I'm not sure of.
Yeah.
Earlier in the presentation, I know you had mentioned a few things that you asked parents to get more information about their kids. One of them was screen time.
Yeah.
What exactly are you looking for with that?
That's a great question. So I'm looking like anything over an hour of screen time. They're probably going to experience some sort of developmental delay, especially with speech. Also, like over an hour of screen time. Now we're looking at screen time during meals. Okay, if there's screen time during meals, then this is going to make dealing with picky eating a lot harder because they're not focused on the food. They're just eating what they already know. So those are some common things that we look for the screen time. Is that cool?
I have a question. Do you work
Yes.
with any lactation consultants at your
We do.
office? Okay.
We do. So, I like to work with the kiddos.
Yeah.
So I don't typically see as many moms and breastfeeding women as other WIC dietitians, and I mean, you can kind of see why. You know, they're gonna look at me, and already my rapport is low. So I'm a bit averse to that. But I do often refer to the lactation consultant in these situations because I know the advice. Like I'm trained on this. But coming from me, I found in my experience, it's just like I'm fighting an uphill battle. So that's the reality. But yeah, any other questions?
I guess something I just want, not really a question, but something I want to point out for the class, like obviously there's a lot of dietitians who do work for WIC, and based on the way you've described your role and the type of stuff you do, it's a really interesting job because it's a perfect combination of like the skills and stuff that you're going to be learning in this class, medical nutrition therapy, nutrition counseling, life cycle nutrition, like that setting, you're kind of using all of that knowledge all at the same time, and there's not too many practice settings where you really do combine all of that knowledge all at once, or knowledge from multiple different classes all at once. So that's just something I wanted to point out because I think that's makes working at WIC very unique compared to other RD type roles.
Thanks. It's true. Yeah. Wow. Thank you, Dr. Levine. Yes. All right.
Oh,
The last question, sorry.
All good.
Like what are other nutrient deficiencies you see in the patients or the clients you know?
That's a good question. Well, we really only test for that one.
Yeah.
That's how important it is. But like, you know, if the child is getting most of their nutrients from like chips or fried foods, then we have to focus on the dietary quality as a whole.
Yeah.
So I mean, besides iron, it could be a number of them.
So would you refocus them trying to get into like those more like higher quality foods using WIC, like tell them like what they could buy?
Exactly. So like it's less about specific nutrients in the other cases and more just about like overall dietary quality. Like typically a lot of clients, like they're eating vegetables like maybe twice a week. So like there's a lot of good nutrients in vegetables, like we gotta eat those more often. So we come at it from that perspective rather than like the individual micronutrients.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, y'all. Well, thank you so much. I hope I made closing your laptops worth it. But yeah, I appreciate your time and attention.
Yeah.
If you you need my contact information, you'd like my contact information, I have some cards here. But yeah, it was a pleasure. Thank you all so much.
Let's all thank Danny for